Hello everyone, my name is Frigid Hyperion, and welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount D&D campaign. Today we will be doing session 45, and this will be part 1. With me today we have Dawn playing as Soren, Rocky playing as Edward, I, Cameron, am playing Moonzik, Lily is playing Windchime, and Kale is playing Brine. And with a very special announcement is our favorite D&D of all time, D&D DM of all time, Emily. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, despite their adorable appearance,
Tyrion.
uh,
Hyperion?
appearance,
Did someone call for me?
Hyperion, Cloud Bee workers should be treated with the utmost caution. If you are perceived as a threat by one, then you can almost guarantee that a swarm of Cloud Bee warriors will come buzzing down on you at any second. Ships flying through dense clouds have been known to collide with hidden cloud beehives by accident, resulting in severe hull damage and heavy crew casualties when the angry queen bee comes out in force.
You know, most notable authors call them monsters. In their publications, that is.
Well, I don't like that term. It feels negative. And let's be honest, we both know not all creatures in the sky are out here to kill and eat you. I mean, look at Clive Cloudster here.
Is that a fucking cloud bee?
Uh, yeah.
Satva, where'd you get a cloud bee from?
Oh, just that hive we park next to.
But you didn't disturb any warrior ones, right?
Well, wait, there's a difference? I thought they were all just bees.
Oh, deuce. Stop playing fetch with Cole Cloudington or whatever you call them. We've got to return them before they attack.
If the cloud bees at all sound interesting to you, then I would highly recommend checking out Homie and the Dude's 5e combat overlay, Skies, Zephyrs, uh, so that you can have them in your campaign as well. Uh, Follow the Kickstarter links in all associated descriptions so that you don't miss out. Just go ahead and click that little save and follow so that you can get notified when the Kickstarter goes live. Setting out to create a fun, simple yet dynamic system that complements and doesn't overwhelm traditional 5e player combat. If this sounds like fun to you, don't hesitate to reach out. Along with Cloud Bees, dozens of other original pieces of artwork, custom sky based feats, spells, creatures, and magic items. GM and PC Zephyr combat trackers, along with more of this high res artwork and game ready stat blocks of Zephyrs, their crews, and so much more. Um, Again, if you want to get notified when the project goes live, follow our links. Go ahead and save that and add things like Cloud Bees, who are just absolutely the most adorable things in the entire world to your game. I mean, look at them. Having a little
Can a
pet
cloud
bee
bee
flying
be?
around.
Can a cloud bee be your familiar?
I don't see why they couldn't. The smallest cloud bees are about the size of a Jack Russell Terrier,
Oh.
which,
That is
again,
terrifying. No, no, that is terrifying.
adorable,
They are adorable, but
adorable.
also terrifying.
Yeah, they're not just any regular old bee. They are a big bee.
Murder hornets, you say?
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Just shreds, you
they're
say.
like bees, but cloudy, and also giant, and also
And also will tear you to shreds, you say.
and also very much killable.
Well, all of that aside, I'm gonna send things over to Brian to do the session recap.
Welcome back to the Wilds of Wildemount. Last session we spent quite a lot of time listening to an awesome story. But before that, we finally completed our um, our quest to save Melora's lighthouse. We got up there, took the sword out of the crystal with a Herculean effort, and the evil magic was gone. We are still not sure who caused said attack or what's going on with that, and we've already committed to figuring that out, or at least helping if there is a lead to follow. But, well, with all of that out of the way, we went and we met the rest of my friends. It was great. We heard a awesome story from Alexander. Sorry.
It's all good.
Heard an awesome story from Alexander. Finally met Hazel, and met very briefly with Barkley, who seemed out of sorts and distracted. With a little bit of pressing, he revealed he was focused on some research project that was confidential to the Clovis Concord. Upon discussion, Brine has decided that she needs to go talk to her teacher and maybe try and figure out a little bit of a way to help her friends.
Is that what we're doing today then?
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I really need to meet with Professor Namorn. I've got plenty of questions and, well, I need to know his opinion. He's taught me for longer than most students have been at the school. One of the benefits, I suppose, of coming here as early as I did.
And having such a healthy lifespan.
Well, yes, but really, it feels like I've not been here at all, but yeah. So much can happen in so little time, and so little can happen in a long time. It's weird that way. By the way, did anyone else feel like the reward for saving a lighthouse uh, and multiple guards was kind of small compared to the rewards we've been getting for doing?
For doing things that have been unrecorded for certain legal matters.
Exactly. Or even as much as the wave chaser has made.
Yeah, I suppose, well, Clovis Concord has their set of rules and regulations that they have to follow as well. What with compared to our other ventures that have been unrecorded and we can't record them for various reasons.
I mean, for sure that one, I understand that, but
The Wave Chaser
I
is
mean,
more of regular work at the same time, so. And, maintenance and shipping takes a lot of money, so the Wave Chaser was able to ask for more.
I
But
mean, we're risking our lives, though.
isn't everybody else?
I mean, that's the entire premise of being a adventurer, don't you think?
I don't know. I think the guild does a pretty poor job at keeping prices good for adventurers. There's no wonder there's not as many parties as I suspected there might be. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's significantly better than working a farm or something like that, but it's a whole lot more dangerous too. I assume I've never worked a farm. It'd be terrifying work, constantly fighting off monsters.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Windchime, how long have you known those gnolls to be terrorizing your parents' farm?
Forever.
Really?
Since I was born, at least. Maybe before then. They were always just a part of life. They would leave us alone for a little bit, and then they would come back and ruin everything, and we'd fix it all up again, and
That's
yeah.
that's really sad.
Is farming a cycle of fighting for your life and then rebuilding stuff and getting crops?
Is this like
It
some sort of
depends on the
weird
farm.
attrition tactic?
I don't. If I remember correctly, our friend Brom, he had a farm, and then there was a unprecedented. I don't know if it was unprecedented or if it was just unexpected. Like he, I don't think he was prepared for combat at all, and that's why he ended up losing his farm and had to at least try and get it back somehow.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes to ward off like monsters or beasts from coming onto your farm, people will build these scarecrows. It works a little bit.
How many scarecrows has your family made?
We make one every year. It's kind of a celebration sometimes. We have like a festival of scarecrows.
Oh, it's actually rather charming.
Do you think we'll get
Indeed.
to see it if we make it there? Or will we be out of season?
Um,
Well, it's getting colder. I'm honestly going to be
it
expecting snow when we
depends.
go up there.
It depends how fast we get there.
Alright. But then we should get there quickly. Although, still have to go do my thing.
Well, we've got lots of business to settle here, and if settle it we should, because from here on out, I imagine it's going to be a fast trek up to Allfield.
I I did have a quick question for you, Edward. I know you
Yes.
were, when I first met you, you were studying the laws on piracy, right?
Are we studying what now?
The laws on piracy.
Yes, well, there was a brief period
Do you
to
remember when you were reading the laws if there was anything on civil forfeiture?
DM what I know. You're muted, by the way, Emily.
That explains so much. Civil what?
Civil forfeiture.
Well, now I have to figure out what fucking silver forfeit.
It is the legal process in which enforcers of law can collect money they believe was obtained in an
Unlawfully.
illicit manner and redistribute it as they see fit.
uh, yes. So, civil forfeiture. The that concept. Yeah, you're familiar with it enough. Maybe in passing. It's kind of loosely adjacent to the piracy laws that you had been researching at that time. You would gather that there is a legal system in place for the claiming and redistribution of goods that have been illegally obtained. However, most of them would go to higher positions of government to be seen as fit. Does that make sense? So if, for example, a Zalejo officer um, goes and raids say a drug den, right, where they're selling and distributing illegal drugs, right? Um, and while that officer is there, they come across um, a large sum of money. Then they would inform their higher ups, right? The lieutenants, the captains, and things like that. Um, and they would go through the proper bureaucracy um, to distribute those funds into the actual system, like the not just like any system. It goes like typically right back into the Zalejo offices, right? Kind of
Yeah.
part of the process is that um, the the Zalejo are also funded in part by the civil forfeiture. Not in a substantial, like massive degree, but um, it is almost so predictable at this point that this will happen in the process of them finding raids and doing things like that. That inevitably they will come across these funds to the point where you can almost plan that it's going to happen. Mind you, there is a lot of swing when it comes to that, but it's predictable in nature that at least it's going to happen sometimes, and of a fair amount of funds. If it's an exceptional amount, say this like a once in a decade or even greater than event, then that would then go to a court system within each city state that allows the governing body there to distribute those funds for larger city projects.
Our amount doesn't qualify for that, right?
Your amount of what? The
I
amount that
mean,
you gained from
from taking
the
Sophia
from
family.
Phelan. Yeah, no, that would like, well, there's see, the thing is what you all did was not sanctioned by the Clovis Concord. In fact, you broke into a member of the Concord, a high-ranking official of the Concord, without informing any other government bodies of your actions. Um, Whether or not the you have a writ of law enforcement, that does not necessarily mean that you can't communicate with law enforcement. So you would gather that, yeah, it was still illegally gotten, even if what you were doing you believed was the most right way to go about it. The Clovis Concord does have laws and a system of governments in place to do things, to handle situations like that, even if what you had felt at the time was that this was the only option, and even if it may be, there are still legal consequences. So the answer is no, it was not civil forfeiture.
It was us being not civil.
Vigilantes. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were vigilantes. You were
that
taking
was
the law into your
vigilante
hands.
justice, not. Yeah, I figured. Brian's just doesn't know the difference. Well, that's a shame. Would have been
Yes,
a
it's
pretty
a shame.
easy way of dealing with it, but oh well.
Well, it was the most direct way, the most immediate way, and I'll be honest, the most effective way without relying on the slow drag that is adhering to bureaucratic policy.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you guys be willing to try and convert the gems while I went and talked to my teacher?
Um,
Okay.
I'd be okay with it. I probably don't want to do it again. Or at least not this persona.
Not anytime soon, at least.
You
Right.
should probably have a different persona on. Somebody not connected to the party.
If I'm going to have a persona that's not connected to the party, hanging about with the party, and they want me to come in for some kind of questioning, wouldn't it look rather odd?
But what, we just picked up a random new stranger on the side of the street and dumped Team Liam out in the back?
What?
What? I wasn't suggesting going to I wasn't suggesting you getting questioned. I was just saying that
Yeah.
although we did agree on going to the to the adventuring store, old retired adventurer,
Hmm.
y'all might be able to convince her to not ask too many questions.
It's entirely possible. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
All right,
so
Brian wants to
upon
go see her professor.
Great. So upon exiting Brine's dorm room, the lot of you, with the exception of Brine, make your way into town. Where Brine, you make your way just a hip jump and a skip. Wow, a
Are
skip
you
jump and a
okay,
hop.
Emily?
Fuck off. Like this is English is a fucking hard language.
It is.
Uh, to just around the corner to the academy where you know that Professor Namorn studies and is, you gather based off of the time, is probably either in class or in office hours.
I'm just going to go to his office and knock on the door.
Okay. Knocking on the door. Ooh, let me. That explains that. I kind of forgot that this wasn't going on.
Yeah.
Um, knocking on Professor Namorn's door. You see that they are in fact in office hours. So, with that, we're gonna flip back to here. We're gonna do this. We're going to not do that. Move this forward. We're gonna stack. Ah, man, this is rough. Just gonna boop. Nope. Boop. Nope. That doesn't work. That's okay. Fine. They can all hide out in the corner.
All my friends are hiding in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Um, as you give a knock on the door, you hear the voice of Professor Namorn say, yes, yes, come on in, please. And as you swing open the door, you see your professor. The silver and white dragonborn sitting back behind the desk.
Brine is going to bow. My apologies for my extended absence, Professor. My 1 month sabbatical was unfortunately extended due to unforeseen circumstances, and fortunately extended due to others.
You see a smile appear across their face as they make eye contact with you and stands up and they say, well, I am happy that you're back. Tell me, now what did you learn?
Great many things, and unfortunately none about the project I left to go pursue. As you said, journeys have a funny way of bringing about knowledge. I've learned quite a few facts about portal mechanics. Facts that I believe the university only knows as theories.
With that, you see an eyebrow is raised.
Well, have you heard of the puncture theory for planes of existence?
Are you making this up? Or like, is the puncture theory you making it up?
I am
Are you trying to reference something that you
I
have
am
heard before?
referencing
You're
the
referencing something you don't have on hand right now.
I am referencing what Edward has.
Yeah. Edward's
Um, I'm afraid that I have not. Please
Well, I
elaborate.
I don't have the documents with me, but a wizard I am uh, accompanying found a theory where the theory is that the planes of existence are uh, can be visualized as thin sheets of ice, and that one with enough magical force in the right places where the ice is thin can break through and um, travel to whatever plane is closest. Um, and she's gonna go through everything she can remember. I can roll an Arcana check or a History check to try and remember as much as I can from Edward and Brian talking about this. I don't
Okay.
have the ability that Brian would have to express this.
Yeah, sure, do that.
Do it.
you know.
Arcana. Did not need to do so with advantage, but normal is still 19.
Then you go through with the best that Brian can uh to recount the findings that not only the author had written, but also, incorporating
Whereabouts?
your own, yeah. um and you see at a point in time, Nomorn begins to take notes, pull out papers and books, and look things up while you're explaining and going about, um, with a pretty good understanding of what you were talking about. Um, um, th- they give you a look, um one that you are familiar with, or at least have knowledge of what it means, and that is, you are beginning to touch on territory and topics that your rank does not behoove you to, and Namorn says, well, this is definitely quite interesting. I think it is probably would behoove you to cease looking into this matter for now until I have talked to a couple of well-trained individuals of slightly higher rank.
And unfortunately, it's not entirely my matter to stop looking into. As I'm sure you understand, um, part of what I mean by good fortune was the manner in which I survived um, the bad fortune. And she's going to explain how she came into contact with the party. Um, and that she is a member of said party.
I see. So your visit here today was brief.
I find myself in an interesting situation. As you well know, um, when I first arrived in this plane from the Feywild, I came here seeking to understand. I worked hard, I learned a lot, but my goal has always been to understand this world and understand enough that one day perhaps I have the ability and have shown the ability to make good choices with the knowledge that I have. And I find myself in a situation where I know knowledge can come from many sources. I know knowledge can come from practical experience. And I know I can find knowledge here. I've wished for a long time to go and find knowledge out in the world, and I now have the ability to. But I also want to be here, finding the knowledge that is offered within these halls and within the minds of the great thinkers here. I find myself questioning many things I thought were true, and wondering where I should go, and so I seek advice more than anything else. I seek advice as to how to move forward, how to stay with my party and continue doing good work, and how to continue my studies and learn more about the histories of this continent and the whole of Exandria and the Feywild and as much as I can. So I seek advice.
While that conversation is happening, the rest of the party, you are all um, deep into Nicodranas at this point. Where are you going?
Still not sure if we want to go straight to a jeweler's or if we want to go to that shop that Bella had recommended. What are your thoughts, Edward?
I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I was kind of curious about that call.
Is that right?
Yes, but other than that, I was probably well, I had a predisposed inclination to want to go to the Library of the Cobalt Soul. But, obviously that doesn't adhere to the entire desires of the party for the time being.
There's always time to visit another morning before we leave. I do think we should. Did we pick up the gems from Firewatch, or were we still counting them when Soren called us back through the portal?
You picked up the gems from Firewatch.
Okay, we did pick them up. Well, and we can always check them out later as well, but definitely first things first, we need to go and get these appraised and traded for the gold, and then we also need to pick up that mimic cloak from the shop.
Yeah. How do we want to go about with the gems? I think this particular topic requires a higher degree of exercised caution in order to pull off with little repercussion.
That's why I was asking if we wanted to go to a jeweler's, which, being of their practice, they're going to have more questions on the jewels that we sell, or if we want to go to a shop, or that pawn store that Bella had recommended.
The armory.
The armory.
Like
Do you recommend that? Oh.
So there were the one that Bella had recommended was Lean's Extraordinary Armaments, where it used to be run by an adventurer. What is run by a retired adventurer who might, with a bit of persuasion, be more understanding of goods that were gotten out adventuring versus the jeweler who is typically held to a bit higher legal standards, not to mention the one that was mentioned in town has been known to take advantage of those kinds of situations.
It's going to require a bit of a deft sense of conversation one way or another to avoid too much questioning that lands us in hot water. But I'm still not sure. Probably
Wise, you are all free to do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. If you don't even want to do this, that's totally understandable. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Soren, I know we were at Melora's lighthouse yesterday, but did you do everything that you wanted to do there?
At the where?
At the lighthouse.
Oh, no, not quite.
Did you want to go and make another trip back there to pay a visit while I mull it over?
If that's what you guys want to do, sure. I mean, we could take time and think this over as a group, or that would work as well, I guess.
I think we can I think we can think and work it out on the way there. Um, and then take some time and enjoy the lighthouse. So now that we're not trying to cut vines away from it. Or rip a sword out of its crystal.
I will say that you do know that the lighthouse is separate from the temple.
But they're in the same area, right?
They are the same area,
Okay.
yes, but I just wanted clarification on that.
Well,
So
wherever.
you've got the lighthouse, and then you've got the temple.
Okay. I mean, I guess wherever Soren had intended to go originally, he can lead us. Um, at this point, I'm just gonna roll. Essentially, just gonna flip a coin to determine which way I want to go for selling the gems. But slash 1d2. Okay. So, Melora's, or yeah, Melora's lighthouse or temple, or Temple of Melora. Soren, whatever you want to do.
I guess Soren's gonna lead everyone to the lighthouse.
Okay.
Yep.
Making your way to the lighthouse, you see the towering figure of Melora, the light shining high above, um, looking as if the shadow had been lifted from her. Um, Bright, lush, and vibrant. Um, at the base of her little cliffside, her mountain, about part the way up, lies the temple of Melora, uh, shrouded in this beautiful, like intertwined, um, in greenery. It looks to be almost that of a greenhouse, um, as a form of worship, if that makes sense. Um, you see, the place looks busier than one would normally assume, as after the restoration of the lighthouse, the people have come to pay their respects and um, to Melora. You are free to go about and do what you would like to do.
Well, um, I guess Soren's gonna bring everyone more towards the lighthouse than the temple. He definitely wants to make his way towards it on the way back, but he's kind of focusing on the temple. But if not mistaken, you had you had said that there were flower beds in the front of the thing, right? The
In
lighthouse?
the yeah, like out on the lighthouse, yes, like in the entryway, yes, completely full of flower beds and whatnot. That at that time had been coated in those thick brackish vines.
Yeah, are they still wilted or no?
hmm I would say you see a as you walk up to the lighthouse, the um you see a small team of people, probably three, four, um, are currently inside that area. Um, doing what appears to be general maintenance work. And you also see stationed outside at the base of the lighthouse is um, is about four Zalejo guards.
I see they have much tighter security here.
Um, Although as you approach, nobody stops you as you enter. In fact, one of the guards gives you a sharp nod of the head.
I presume they understand that you're at least a follower of their faith. That is true. Perhaps it is sort of a sign of recognition that they've acknowledged accomplishments from the liberation of whatever dark forces, that were occupying this particular area.
You see, as you enter the lighthouse, there's um, a fountain that had been basically completely obscured um, the last time that you were in here. That now um, they are attempting to get running again. You see, there's a person who is currently um, in the fountain at this point, with uh, beginning to pull out what looks um, like a clog, basically, if that makes sense. Just like some debris that had been moved over in the process. Although, as you remember, most things had just like it turned into ash with the coming. Uh, the What was in the fountain is kind of this like thick gunk, if that makes sense. Basically the ash that had been filled out. Not, but there are plenty of flower beds that people are currently working on replanting, regrowing, and the like. You see, there's one one young woman with long black hair who is nearest to the entrance where you all are had come into. You see from the tips of her fingers, she kind of reaches out to one of the plants, and you can see the smallest amount of divine magic as a singular flower begins to grow, and blossom into a beautiful tiger lily. You see, upon your exclamation, she turns to you, her large sun hat um, casting a small shadow over her face as she wipes a bit of sweat from her forehead and turns to look at you all. Um, why, hello. Oh, oh my gosh. You guys, the Legati Company?
Yep, yes.
Oh, you see, she bounces up from her kneeling position and runs up to you. "Ah, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. Uh, Oh man, I don't know what would have happened if we didn't get the lighthouse up and operating in time. Uh, I just thank you so much. May her light shine upon you all. Oh, well, to be honest, most everything was returned almost back to its original state. There's a lot of us, not me, but there's a lot of us who were concerned that this this blight had happened because we haven't been taking care of the lighthouse as well as we should. So we've all kind of volunteered to spend some more time, not just like restoring to it was what it was before, which but to go above and beyond, you know? um yeah. The damage was really not bad. I mean, you all did a wonderful job and stopped things before it got um too bad. But just right now we're in the middle of renovating, I guess. Uh, well, it's in no short work to yourselves. Um, Thank you once again. What brings you all up here? I hear a kitty purring.
I think that my mic is muted on the OBS as well. Yeah, Lucy's purring.
It's just
You
visiting.
you see a black cat like walk across um the flower bed and just bask in the little um drops of sunlight that poke through uh the top, stretching and enjoying himself.
Well, he looks rather pleased with himself there.
Oh, yeah, that's just Lucy. He does what he wants to.
I've known plenty of cats that act that way. It's not unusual. But in any ways, it's lovely to see this place so lively again. And you say that it's because of us, but I think you're doing a wonderful job here as well.
Oh, thank you. Um, she looks at you, Soren, and makes eye contact. Well, let us know if there's anything we can do for you all. Um, Again, we really appreciate um rescuing everyone.
Of course. I mean, as long as everyone's okay. Although I'm not sure if you've heard, but the original Lightkeeper is still missing. So if you do end up finding anything at all, just please let us know.
Yeah. Um, of course. I have heard. Um, no, nobody here hasn't. Um, I can just hope that Melora is with her right now, wherever she is. You see a sad look flash over her eyes.
Hopefully she'll be found. And then, as long as she's safe, she can. Hopefully, we can bring her back.
Yeah,
Well,
I
my
would.
primary concern is why would they need to kidnap the Lightkeeper? What do they stand to gain from doing so?
Well, she is an extraordinarily powerful druid. Um,
Wouldn't that be
she
all the more liability to kidnap her? I would assume that they would require even more power in order to contain her.
unless they need. Oh God, I don't like thinking about it. But unless maybe they need her power for something. Oh,
It's a rather
I hope
grim
she's all right.
subject. But I'm sure that's not the case. And Sheem kind of shows a smile.
Roll me a deception check.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Well, I certainly hope you're right. Um, I'd best get back to uh
I'm
to
sorry,
the
1d2?
No,
no.
that was my previous roll.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I was flipping a coin. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought so, but I was also like
Hold on.
I didn't see a roll. I didn't see
Um,
a roll, so I just went to the last roll. I
because
thought I
he whispered it to me. It's fine.
Did
I
I?
gotcha.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
it's okay.
Oh, that was from when we were playing Rollies. God damn it.
That's okay. No worries. Um,
Lucy!
as as you she says
Oh, shit.
Lucy mustn't be kept waiting. You know how he gets. Actually, you don't know how he gets, but anyway. uh you see the black cat uh begin to stare daggers at this woman, and you see her mutter, "Okay, fine, fine," as she goes up and begins petting him with a look of content over Lucy's face.
Sheem mutter under his breath. Troubling, troubling thing indeed. Anyway, let's enjoy the sights a little bit longer and then let's carry on. I think
Yep.
I think we decided on going to the jewelers unless anyone had any objections.
No objections here.
I did want to ask Donna Soren a question.
Hmm.
While you were here and heading to the temples and whatnot, what was he hoping for? What is he looking for? What does he want to achieve by coming to these temples?
To both Temple of Thanin or Temple of Mor, or
Yeah,
by going here right now.
both slash all three.
Um. Well, he wanted to come back to the lighthouse to maybe try and find something that could lead them to just like maybe a clue or a hint at where the lighthouse keeper might have been taken
Okay.
because he is worried about them. And for the temples, he wants to ask them a few questions and just try and see if they might know more about him because he is still kind of the main mystery of himself. He's not sure who he is really.
Um, what I would like you to do before you head out of the lighthouse is roll me an investigation check at advantage. It's not an easy check, but
It's there.
Vintage. Pull this out. Okay. Advantage and investigation. That's not a good modifier.
so with a 13, you begin to look around, occasionally casting druidcraft to help in um, the regrowth process as everybody's kind of relaxing and enjoying the beautiful sights. Um, in addition, go ahead and roll me, I guess, an insight check um, as well.
Regular?
Yeah, just regular. Okay. So, Um, Soren begins to go around to the different flower beds and cast small bits of magic to help with the regrowth um, of the temple. I guess the lighthouse. In addition, you're looking for any sort of clues. Um, while while mingling with the couple of folks that are helping in the restoration, um, you notice that there's one fellow with he's an older man, graying hair, um, and a long beard that goes halfway down his chest. And something about him seems off. It's almost in the way that he walks. He doesn't necessarily walk with purpose or even like a meandering way. It's more that it's like he is almost slithering around.
Like a Naga?
No, no, he is a human man, but the way that he is walking, just it's almost suspicious. At least you would think so, only because of given your own increased suspicions already. Not like a Naga.
I guess Soren's gonna turn to the rest of the party and say, "Does that man look out of place to you? Something's something's nagging at me about him.
Oh, so,
It seems like he's not here to help, almost just
Just
I
here.
don't know. He seems out of place to me."
that's peculiar.
Why don't you try having a conversation with him? Maybe nothing pointed right away, but you can find out all sorts of information from just a passing conversation.
I guess that is fair. Yeah. I guess he is going to talk to this slithering man.
Slithery man.
Don't get me canceled, please.
What? How would that get
Don't
you
worry about it.
canceled?
Don't worry about it. Nothing.
All right.
Snake.
Okay. You begin to approach him, um, and he turns to you. His head just kind of swivels, and he gives you a nod. His movements, based off of your insight check, seem simultaneously. You know what? Here's what the word is. They seem almost choreographed as he turns to you and nods his head.
In what way do you mean choreograph?
Um,
Like he's walking not with like, the intention of walking, but with the intention that it's being directed the way he wants to walk. Right?
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's like he's being directed on how to walk, not just walking to get from point A to point B like everyone else is.
Whether it be an internal or external, you do not
I'd
know.
like to do like a little insight check on it to see if that like he is a being that is comfortable with the form that he's in, or if, like, something
Sure,
along the lines.
you are watching this effect. Go ahead. This conversation that's about to
Right.
happen with a
16.
16. Um, you are you have a. It is not for certain, right? If this is a performance, he is doing an exceptional job, but there is something off about him. It is unsettling in the way that his movements are simultaneously smooth and elegant, but yet stop in very specific positions, as if not necessarily that his goal is to walk from here to there, but his goal is to take a singular step forward. Does that make sense?
Oh, so like he's playing QWOP.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh
Oh,
God!
Quap. Quap.
Please no. Please not
That
Quap.
was a blast from the past.
We don't need to explain it,
We
guys.
don't.
That was a blast from the past. Anyway, I'm gonna go up to him, like, just
Damn it.
Well,
like
actually,
within.
before you do that, it was Soren first.
All right, yeah,
So
sorry first.
Soren has an opportunity to have a conversation beforehand.
Yes, so he will approach. Indeed. Hey, how are you doing about everything?
Things, excuse me, things are going well here. We are working on the restorations and look forward to seeing the lighthouse back into its full glory.
That's good, but how are you doing about this? I mean, I've been talking to a few people here and there, and I'm getting different responses, so I'm just trying to make sure everyone's doing okay.
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
Do you need anything? Any help anywhere? I'd offer my help. I don't know if my party's okay with that, though.
Um, Roll me a persuasion check, I suppose. Because I'm trying to get at what when you say you were looking for help, say, what are you going for? Actually, you know what? We'll give it a roll, won't we? Hold on just a second.
Eee.
Alright.
Well, never mind.
Nope. Okay then.
So what was your question? One more time.
It was, does he need help with anything?
I am quite well, thank you.
Uh, I'm not sure if that was a yes or a no.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I guess he's gonna he's gonna look over at Edward, kind of giving him the floor. He's not really sure where else to go from there.
I was gonna throw up a detect thoughts and see surface level thoughts.
Okay. Throwing up a detect thoughts, you I don't know how to explain this in a way that makes sense. Um, you first off immediately gathered that he is not at all suspicious of Soren or the party. Um, um, the fact that he sees no difference between the lot of you and everybody else who he is presumably working with around here. Um, you also get the glancing idea of returning.
Oh, you mean like he's like somewhere away from home and he's trying to get back?
You only understand that he is like not necessarily again not necessarily to home, but he must return somewhere.
Hmm. Anything about like him specifically paying like a notable amount of effort to his demeanor in walking?
Not just not surface level thoughts wise.
Not surface level. Alright. I'm gonna ask, where are you headed to by chance?
I am headed to the flower beds over this way.
The flower beds. I mean, they look wonderful this time of year, don't they? Um,
Certainly.
are you just there to like visit? To admire the scenery?
I am here to help with the restoration.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Um,
The events of yesterday are quite unfortunate.
yes, they were quite
Your
devastating.
detect thoughts does tell you that he does not feel that they are quite unfortunate. He actually seems rather pleased.
Oh.
Mm, immediate suspicion. Oh, it's a tragedy of what happened there in the lighthouse. How are you going? If I may ask, what is your particular job in the restoration of the lighthouse or the flower beds?
I am simply helping with the restoration by any means possible.
Does my surface level thoughts detect that that's like a lie? Or, well, not like much of a lie as much as it is like he just made it up, or like is it like genuinely like a thing that he was?
You gather that this is a cover story.
Okay. Well, that was a really fruitful detect thoughts. I'm gonna say, well, good luck on the restoration. I hope that you see to it that it gets fixed soon.
Thank you. And he walks away to the flower beds.
Before
He had
he
pointed out
walks
before.
away, can I identify like a literally any single particular article of clothing specifically that he would be wearing that he would be unlikely to take off in case I needed to track him with locate object?
You see, well, you know what? I am gonna like put up a bit of a roll to see what kind of object you're looking for.
Is that like an
Go
investigation
ahead.
insight?
You can do a perception check. I would let you do an investigation check, but the investigation check would be at a disadvantage since he is like walking away from you.
Yeah,
Um, but a perception check I'd be okay with at a straight roll. Um, oh,
20.
okay. You see as he walks away, there is a glint of gold from a chain around his neck. And it looks like it is kind of like tucked in to underneath his shirt. Like the chain when he was looking at you, it wasn't whatever it wasn't outside of his shirt.
Yeah.
Whatever it is tucked in. Um, as for a familiarity of it, you actually can't see it right now, but it is really interesting and catches your attention. Other than
Um,
that, you do get a good look at his shoes.
Look at his shoes. Yeah, gold chain, did it sort of resemble the same like sigil or whatever that we found in
You
Melora's
don't
lighthouse?
you don't see any pendant on it because it's tucked into his shirt. You just see
Okay.
a gold chain.
Okay. So as he walks away, I'm going to who here right now has the sigil or pendant in their inventory?
I think Brine has it, or
So
maybe
Brian is super far away, right?
I
As he's going to
I do have it. Yeah.
Yeah, Brian is really far away. I'm not worried about that. As he walks away, I'm going to then throw up a locate object targeting a sigil that's similar to Brian's thingamajig, the pendant that's in his inventory. Not like, particularly like the same one that Brian is holding, but of the same kind, right? Because that's
Mhm.
the secondary use of locate object is that you can find, a certain
Objects of
item
similar
of a certain
nature,
kind.
yeah. Yeah,
hmm.
yeah. When you cast your locate object of items of similar nature, it does in fact ping off of his neck.
Uh-oh.
Hey, there we go. Big brain wizard plays. Yeah, I'm just gonna let him leave. So that he, can no longer hear us and no longer see us and is no longer has anything to do with us. And I'm going to turn to the party and I'm going to say,
You might, based off of your previous insight check, you might gather that it's a good idea to exit the lighthouse.
yeah, uh, definitely. I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna usher the party, beckon them to say, okay, why don't we go somewhere else for a change? I was thinking we could probably go get something to eat. I'm kind of hungry. And that's like sort of the cue to
As
leave the lighthouse.
he
As
begins to just
as
walk out of the lighthouse
as
without.
as as you're pulling Cheem's arm, which is very out of character for him.
Yeah.
I uh
Why don't we go get something to eat? Any restaurants or anything around this area?
You walk out at the lighthouse, nodding to the guards. Well, the guards nod to you on your way out.
Yep. All right. I'm gonna immediately turn to Soren and I'm gonna say, you have a pretty good intuition and a pretty good eye when it comes to things. Well, where do I begin? That individual that we had the brisk chat with, well, there were several things wrong with him, I should say. First, if you've noticed, I was reading his surface level thoughts. He claims he was, you know, his presence was in order, well, he claims the purpose of his presence was for the restoration of the lighthouse, yet his thoughts itself seemed to contradict that purpose. He seemed almost pleased, or as if he had a sense of accomplishment or pride that the lighthouse was blighted and that the damage there was caused in itself. That in itself is more than enough to warrant suspicion for, you know, that in itself is more than enough to warrant suspicion. I do genuinely think that he is there for nefarious purposes. But something else really unsettled me. Remember that sigil we found, that pendant that Brine was holding on to, of a particular symbol, the snake-like symbol?
Yes.
Well, I was able to locate another one of its kind, and, well, that individual we were talking to, he was wearing it.
You're certain?
I am absolutely certain that I was able to locate and detect that particular pendant sigil on him, worn right around his neck. He is part of whatever it is that caused the damages and the blights to the lighthouse.
Hmm. Do we... I don't want to cut anything short for Brian, but do we need to contact her? Is there anything that we can do at this moment?
For now, I doubt that it would be wise to be able to act immediately or rashly upon this. I think it'd be smarter to formulate some sort of plan of action or defense against said organization now that we know the presence is most definitely infiltrated within the lighthouse and the gardens.
It'd be very... Do you have any ideas?
So far, no. But I'll at least try to, you know, come up with some for the time being. What do you think should be done immediately in order to prevent some sort of... what actions do you believe are time sensitive that accomplishing right now would bear more benefit in the future? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I think alerting the authorities right now would only escalate things.
Alerting the authorities may also act as a deterrent for them taking further actions, which makes it difficult to identify or capture them in the long run. I do think that might be, well, unwise to do at the time.
I have to agree. We need to find out where these people are coming from and put an end to them if we're able.
Yes, do you think the Cobalt Soul Library would possibly have any sort of text documents or, well, texts or any material, reference material that would help us identify the snake, serpent-like sigil that he was wearing?
It's possible, but it's also possible that that kind of knowledge is locked behind some kind of tier.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure what tier it would be locked behind, but I'm assuming that Brian would have the best possibility of being able to access that knowledge, given that he's already affiliated with the Cobalt Soul.
Windchime, you're listening to this whole conversation. Go ahead and roll me, I guess, an insight check. So,
Ooh, 24.
based off of the bits of conversation that you have gathered from the historians, which is Brine and her crew, and specifically the conversations that Brine has had about the Cobalt Soul, you know that the Cobalt Soul are people who do believe very strongly in open knowledge. There is, again, there is an amount of knowledge that you can access if you go through certain
Mean?
studies and whatnot, which is what the whole tiers of that Brian was talking about before were. But most knowledge is available to the public. It's really only the dark and dangerous stuff that isn't. Based off of this conversation, you think that you could probably find it there if they truly are worshippers of Iun like they have said they were.
Okay. Can I get a brief rundown of like the last minute of the conversation?
Yeah, basically they're looking to go to the academy, to the Cobalt Soul Library to see if they can find knowledge on the pendant with the sigil of a serpent on it. And they were wondering if that was even knowledge that they had access to. And you think that you probably
Yeah.
would be able to get access to it in the main library. Most things are available. It's only the really dark and dangerous stuff that isn't.
Okay. We should definitely head over to the library then. Because they love sharing knowledge as long as it's not dangerous, you know. I'm sure if we just ask.
That's fair.
Very well. But no, seriously, I am pretty hungry. We should probably get something to eat.
I'm sure there's a little shop or something along the way there that we can stop by and order a quick bite.
Do you want a good berry?
I mean, good berries for, like, the long trips on the road. I want something finer, you know? Like, I want to enjoy the experience of,
You
being in...
don't enjoy my apple?
Emily, is
Do
there a
you
food
not
stand?
taste-
What?
She has already previously described that her good berry is in the form of apple slices.
I will take an apple slice.
Okay, fine, here you go.
Thank you.
She watches you intently as you eat it.
I'm gonna eat an apple slice.
It's like an apple slice, but she is looking at you intensely.
How is it?
Oh, it's delicious. It's wonderful.
Roll me a deception check.
What?
It's not
It's
that it tastes bad, and it's not, but like you are clearly attempting to like over exaggerate the deliciousness of this apple slice.
It's a 3. Yeah,
She's
Wincham,
pissed about you.
it's really good. You can really taste the apple in it.
It's okay, Edward. You don't need to lie to me. It's fine.
I'm
Fuck.
As long as
not. The
it's
apple
not
is
a real
delicious.
apple. It's not grown from a real apple tree. It's whatever. It's just magic apples.
Steamed
I mean,
hams.
I love. I mean, you know me well. I love magic.
Good, Barry. At this time of day,
See, I'm eating magic right now. I'm gonna prestidigitate it to taste like an apple pie.
It tastes much better. It tastes like an apple pie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
That
love
those
eating
notes of
magic.
cinnamon in it.
Superintendent Windchime.
Oh God, y'all are silly.
I know.
You're laughing at this too, damn it.
Yeah, he's
I am.
part of the all group when he refers to us as all.
Well.
So the library?
To the library.
What conversation was that just now?
That was a short little banter about apple pies, I think.
I think I have whiplash from that conversation.
Whiplash.
Okay.
She woke up on the wrong side of the bed today.
Windchime chose violence.
When Chang chose violence.
What URL?
Oh God.
Oh. And now I have to pee. No, I'm kidding.
As the lot of you make your way to the Library of the Cobalt Soul, that is where we're going to stop our part 1 for tonight, and we'll pick up part 2.
We'll be picking up part 2 for those of you on Twitch in about a half hour. For those of you on YouTube, stay tuned for part 2. That'll be coming in the next day or two. We'll see you later.
Right.